Welcome to the Self-Growth Nerds podcast. I'm your host, Marie, a courage coach, creative soul, and adventure seeker. Since through hiking the Pacific Crest Trail in 2019, I'm on a mission to help you embrace your most confident self so you can achieve your dreams too. If you're eager for deep conversations, big questions, and meaningful connections, join me on the quest to discovering how we can create a more magical and memorable life. Hello, nerds! How are you? I'm really good, especially because by the time you listen to this, I will be in North Carolina, and I will just have attended the wedding of two of my trail friends. So these two people I have met in the first week on the Pacific Crest Trail, and we finished together. So we didn't spend the whole trail hiking together, but a good amount of it. And we got really close when we were there, and then have not seen each other for 3 years. So I'm really excited to get to attend this very important moment in their lives. And also I know that many of our many members of our trail family are going to be there. Some of them are flying in from Germany and Switzerland, and we're all gonna sleep in a yurt for the weekend. And then we're gonna spend a week exploring. My partner's coming with me. We're going to do a road trip exploring the Appalachian Trail. Maybe we're going to go to Chicago. I'm not sure yet. We're leaving it open to spontaneous desires. So I cannot wait. Yes. So today, what I want to talk about is related in a way. Basically, one of my clients was saying recently that she felt greedy for wanting more time, more recognition, more money. And I can definitely relate to this because I used to think I was such a princess for wanting to work less, earn more, and do more of what I loved. One of the things that was important to me is having a flexible schedule so that I could, go on more than 2 weeks of vacation per year. And what I'm living now is a great example because I just went to Nicaragua in August, and now I'm going to North Carolina in September, and in November I'm going to Phoenix to a conference. I'm really excited about this, and I'm really excited that I don't have to ask permission every time I want to, live my life. I know it can be very frustrating when you feel like someone else dictates when you work, how you work, where you work. It can feel like you're stuck in a prison, and there are many ways to get some wiggle room. That's what I work on with my clients. And actually, 2 stories come to mind. You don't have to own your own business in order to have that kind of freedom. The key is knowing what you want and having the confidence to ask for what you want. I'm going to give you 2 examples. So the first one is a client of mine who didn't feel respected in their workplace. And so they decided to resign. And when they resigned, their managers said, okay, what can we do for you to stay? And so that's when they said exactly what they needed, which was a remote position with less hours, and they got exactly that. Number 2 is another client of mine who was moving countries, and they wanted to make sure that they had a job when they arrived in the other country so that they would feel secure. But at the same time, they wanted to be able to explore other opportunities. So they felt like stuck in the in-between. It was either I take just any job and then I'm not going to have time to explore other options, or I go there, I have no work, and I feel insecure because I don't know when the next paycheck is going to come in. What ended up happening is that they got a job offer and asked to have Thursday and Friday off. And the answer was yes. They also asked for a 3 weeks vacation in a few months because they wanted to go on a trip with their partner. And the job also said yes. Now, that client told me that in the past, they would have just accepted whatever they were given because the company has a lot of standing. It's a fancy workplace. And so they thought, oh, well, I just have to be grateful for what they give me. But now what they're learning is to trust themselves, to own what they want, and to ask for what they want. The worst thing that can happen is the person is going to say no, but you would be surprised how often the person is going to say yes when you show up with focus, clarity, and determination. So many people tell me like, oh, my boss would never allow me to go on the through hike. Oh, my boss would never say yes to a 4-day work week, or that they would never give me a raise. Now, I know that's true in some places, in some industries, but I want you to make sure that you're not making assumptions and to consider how you bring it up. So, of course, if you're like, can I do this? Please, can I do this? Like a child asking a parent for permission and then pouting because they said no, you gotta have the personal agency and the maturity to offer higher quality questions. Like, how can we work together to make this possible? You're not a child and your boss is not your parent. You're an adult who can make their own decisions, surrounded by other adults who might very well be willing to talk. My dad said to me once, when you stop asking us for permission and you start coming up with solutions, we'll take you seriously. But in the meantime, we're calling the shots. And it's the same thing for you at work. Okay, my clients get time off and they get raises and special arrangements they thought were impossible just because they developed the resourcefulness and the guts to ask better questions instead of making shortcut assumptions for fear of disappointing people or being rejected or just, unsettling the status quo. And what I often hear from my clients is, oh my God, they said yes. I can't believe it. I feel unstoppable. You'd be surprised what happens when you step into your power. I remember when I was a graphic designer, when I started asking my clients for higher rates, part of me was terrified, but I showed up with confidence. And so often people just said, okay, no problem. And I would be gobsmacked every time. I want to remind you that this is your life, not your boss's life. So you got to have your own back and show up as the empowered and mature adult that you are. And I know that's a skill to develop. Okay, when you're super insecure and full of self-doubt, it is challenging to step it up. That's what I help my clients with in Brave and Bold. Now, my program is closed right now for the year, but just planting the seed for you. Okay, so let's get into today's topic. You are not greedy for wanting more time, more recognition, more flexibility, more money, more. Okay? I'm going to give you 7 reasons why. But first, I just want to note that people who are truly greedy don't worry about greed. Just like people who talk too much are not going to be the people who worry about talking too much. And one last example, real imposters don't have imposter syndrome. The people who are busy scamming others are not worrying about other people. They're focused on themselves. So just worrying about being greedy tells us that you're not, okay? So reason number 1, let's get started. The 40-hour work week and 2 weeks of paid time off is an outdated model. And we've got to stand up against this model. Those of us who can, out to. It's been proven that countries where there's a more sustainable way of living are happier, like the Netherlands, like Denmark, for example. They have more time off, and it shows in its people's well-being. So if you have the privilege to, like I do, you gotta join us in the fight against this old system that just drains everyone, okay? That's reason number 1. The current system is outdated and you've got to join the rebellion. Okay, reason number 2. The church has convinced generations of people that we need to go through the hard in order to deserve the good. And whether we like it or not, this is ingrained in our belief system, because this is the water we swim in, especially as women, or people that were socialized as women. We think that the harder we work, the more rewarded we will be. Now notice how this is a great way for those in power to keep the people oppressed, to make sure that people keep their head down, focus on what they have to do, and don't shake things up. Don't unsettle the status quo, like I was telling you earlier. Okay, you gotta work hard if you want to deserve to rest. But that's not sustainable either. That's also a broken belief system. Just be miserable all your life until you retire or until you get to heaven. No, we also have to stand up against that. You don't need to do anything in order to deserve rest. Taking care of yourself shouldn't be conditional to how many things you have ticked on your to-do list. Taking care of yourself should be a priority. Which leads me to reason number 3. You have given so much, and now your inner being wants to receive. Okay? Our bodies crave balance. So the pull that you feel inside of you for more is your inner being seeking that balance. Many of us have defined our worth as a human being on how much we give. So we give in order to feel good about ourselves, but we forget to receive. And that is bound to lead us to exhaustion and burnout. There needs to be a balance between your output and your input if you don't want to deplete yourself. So many of us who value helping others forget to help ourselves. That's why there's so much burnout in quote-unquote giving jobs, like teachers and nurses. We focus on helping others and forget to help ourselves because we have been told that focusing on ourselves is selfish. But again, that's also a broken way of thinking. We have to give selfishness a rebrand. We have to be selfish in order to thrive. You have to put yourself first more often than you think in order for you to be able to help others. And this is a perfect segue into reason number 4. Okay, so you think, I should not need this. I should not need so much time for myself. I should not need more money. I have enough. I'm so privileged already in comparison to others. And yes, that's true. You do have enough. You don't need more in order to be complete, in order to survive. But you are allowed to want more. Wanting it is enough. And that's important to note. You don't need more. You want more. There's a big difference. You want more because, well, that's just how evolution works. You want to see what you're capable of. When you believe in yourself, when you're rested, you want to discover who your best self is. And that leads me to reason number 5. Yes, you feel fine right now. You're going through the motions, you're okay. But you want to feel more than fine. You want to feel alive, connected, joyous, purposeful. You want to be your best self. And you are realizing that in order to do so, your needs need to be fulfilled generously. The minimum is not going to be enough in order for you to be your best self. Reason number 6, being your best self is going to have an impact on everyone around you. That's what I was talking about earlier. You got to help yourself, and helping yourself is going to allow you to help others at a higher quality level. I recorded a whole episode about this. It's called High Quality Selfishness, and it's episode 49. So you can go listen to that if you need a little kick in the butt to be more selfish. Because when you are rested and well taken care of, you're more likely to be a good friend, a good parent, a good boss, a good colleague, a good partner, just a good person in general. Just to give you a personal example, when I make sure that I have firm boundaries with the people in my life and with my work, and I have time for me to recharge my batteries, I'm much more likely to want to have sex with my partner. And when I do have sex with them, we become more connected, and the atmosphere in the house is completely different. That radiates outward to the people that we encounter, to the people that my partner interacts with at work. And that makes their day better. And then when they feel better, it also has a ripple effect on the people that they go back to in their house with their family in the evening. Do you see how important it becomes to focus on you, on making yourself feel good? This, I believe, is how we're going to change the world. And that brings me to the last reason number 7. What do you think would happen if everyone believed that they mattered enough to set time aside for themselves? If everyone believed that they were capable of so much? I believe what would happen is people would pursue what lights them up instead of repressing their dreams. And you don't need to know what happens when we repress something. You just need to look around. Anger, depression, violence, apathy. That's what happens when we repress what we want and what we need. So changing that starts with you taking care of yourself. That is a rebellious act that's going to have so much more impact than you think it does. In the moment when you're lying down feeling guilty, you don't realize it, but you're contributing to changing the world. So that's it for today. You matter. And when you're doing better, we're all doing better. So please do this for us. Focus on taking care of yourself for us. I love you. I wish you a wonderful week, and I will talk to you next week. Bye-bye. You just listened to the Self-Growth Nerds podcast. Make sure to subscribe and to find me on Instagram at Self-Growth Nerds. If you want individual help developing the confidence to create a more meaningful and exciting life, visit selfgrowthnerds.com today to learn how. Finally, I want to thank my friend Etienne Galano for editing this, and I want to thank you, kind-hearted souls, for growing into your truest, most courageous selves every day and making this world a better, more beautiful place. My name is Marie, and I will talk to you next week.